Have you ever felt a deeper inner calling, an inexplicable sense that there's more to your existence than the everyday routine? Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, explored this sense of self-discovery and spiritual awakening that only some people feel. He discovered an insight about our higher self that flipped his life upside down, and the same happened to all those who studied his research. Ready to find out which of your actions are keeping your higher self inactive? Good. But before we get there, it's time for us to learn the secret, harsh truth of our higher self and what exactly Jung discovered about it. The reality of the higher self. Jung's concept of the higher self is deeply rooted in his understanding of the unconscious mind. He believed that within each of us resides a deeper, wiser aspect of ourselves, a guiding force that transcends the ego and connects us to a universal consciousness. This higher self, according to Jung, is a source of wisdom, creativity, and spiritual insight. It is the part of us that knows our true purpose and seeks to guide us towards self-realization and wholeness. The idea of a higher self is not unique to Jungian psychology. It resonates with many spiritual and philosophical traditions. In Eastern philosophy, for instance, the concept of Atman in Hinduism parallels Jung's higher self. Atman is the inner self or soul, the true essence of an individual that is eternal and beyond physical existence. Similarly, in Buddhism, the idea of Buddha nature reflects the belief that each person possesses an inherent potential for enlightenment, a pure, undefiled aspect of the self that is in harmony with the universe. Jung's exploration of the higher self also intersects with the African spiritual tradition of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a philosophy that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all people and the idea that one's identity is rooted in their relationships with others. It suggests that by understanding and embracing our connection to others, we can access a deeper, more universal aspect of ourselves. This mirrors Jung's belief that the higher self is not just an individual phenomenon, but a link to a collective unconscious shared by all humanity. With time, Jung made the life-altering discovery of the best process to approach the higher self, one anyone can do, if only they had the information of how. That's what we'll discover now. Jungian individuation. Jung's approach to the higher self involves a process he called individuation. This is the journey of integrating various aspects of the self, both conscious and unconscious, to achieve a harmonious and whole personality. Individuation requires us to confront our shadows, those parts of ourselves we often deny or repress, and to reconcile them with our conscious identity. By doing so, we draw closer to the higher self, experiencing a profound transformation and a deeper understanding of our true nature. This is never an easy journey. Jung acknowledged that facing our inner shadows can be challenging and even frightening. Yet he argued that it is a necessary step toward personal growth and self-realization. In one of his famous quotes, Jung stated, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This means that true spiritual awakening comes not from avoiding or denying our inner conflicts and fears, but by confronting and integrating them. To understand this concept better, let's explore the life and teachings of a German philosopher who lived between 400 and 1800 AD, Meister Eckhart. Meister Eckhart was a medieval mystic and theologian who believed that spiritual enlightenment comes from looking inward and connecting with the divine within us. His teachings align closely with Jung's concept of individuation, emphasizing the importance of self-discovery and inner growth. Eckhart taught that by shedding our ego and false identities, we can connect with our true divine nature. He believed that God is within us, and by turning inward, we can experience a profound spiritual awakening. This mirrors Jung's idea that the higher self is a deeper, wiser part of us that we can access by integrating our unconscious and conscious selves. In Eastern philosophy, particularly in Hinduism, there is a similar concept known as Atman. Atman refers to the inner self or soul, the true essence of an individual that is eternal and beyond physical existence. Hindu teachings suggest that through practices like meditation and self-reflection, we can realize our Atman and achieve spiritual liberation. In the realm of psychology, a significant study that resonates with Jung's ideas is the Stanford Marshmallow experiment conducted by Walter Mischel in the 1960s. This study explored delayed gratification in children, showing that those who could wait for a larger reward tended to have better life outcomes. The experiment highlights the importance of self-control and self-awareness, which are crucial elements in the process of individuation. By understanding and managing our impulses, we can make conscious choices that align with our true selves. Parables and myths from various cultures often illustrate the transformative journey toward individuation and the higher self. For example, the Greek myth of the hero's journey, epitomized by the story of Odysseus, reflects the trials and tribulations one must face to attain wisdom and self-knowledge. Similarly, in the African Yoruba tradition, the story of the god Orunmila teaches that through perseverance, wisdom, and the guidance of higher spiritual forces, we can overcome obstacles and achieve our highest potential. But how exactly do we achieve this individuation with the end game of connecting with our higher selves? Contemporary psychology sheds some light on two important techniques used since ancient times. These are mindfulness and meditation. But what do they consist of in the context of Jungian individuation? Mindfulness, the practice of being present and fully engaged with the here and now, helps quiet the ego and allows us to tap into deeper aspects of our consciousness. Through regular meditation, individuals report experiences of heightened awareness, inner peace, and a sense of being connected to something greater than themselves, all characteristics of the higher self described by Jung. Finding the center. The experience of accessing the higher self, often described as finding the center, is a profound journey in Eastern traditions. In Eastern traditions, the center is described as neutral, clear, alert, empty, and active. As it's not conditioned by things, the center isn't bombarded by intrusive thoughts or an endless stream of emotions like our egoic mind is. Let's elaborate on this idea. Neutral doesn't mean being numb or detached. Instead, it means being present and balanced. This concept is echoed in Buddhism as the middle way, a path of moderation that avoids extremes. In Taoism, it's known as Wu Wei, which translates to non-action or effortless action. Wu Wei suggests flowing with life's natural rhythms, acting in harmony with the world without force or struggle. So, possessing this information, what's stopping us from accessing our higher self at this very moment? There's actually a trio of obstacles preventing us from reaching it, one explored by Western psychology and Eastern traditions. What blocks us from our higher self? The first of these obstacles is the egoic self, also known as the small self. A fundamental difference between Western psychology and most Eastern traditions is how they navigate overcoming it. In Western psychology, the primary focus is on building and developing a healthy ego. This process involves going through specific stages of psychological development to reach maturity, often referred to as integration. A healthy ego is considered essential for navigating life's challenges, forming relationships, and achieving personal goals. The idea is that by strengthening the ego, individuals can become more resilient and better equipped to handle stress and adversity. In contrast, Eastern traditions view the ego, or small self, differently. The ego is often seen as Maya, an illusionary self-identity or false self. In Buddhism, this false self is considered the root cause of suffering. According to Buddhist teachings, the existence of the false self leads to a never-ending stream of desires, characterized by attractions and aversions. These desires create a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction, trapping individuals in a state of perpetual longing. The psychologist Abraham Maslow famously said, "Man is a forever wanting animal." Eastern traditions would counter that it's not man who is forever wanting, but rather the illusory ego, which is confused and driven by endless attractions and aversions. In Western psychology, the journey is often about building and strengthening the ego to achieve a balanced and integrated self. In Eastern traditions, the focus is on dissolving the ego to uncover the true self, free from the illusions of Maya. This process involves letting go of attachments and desires to achieve a state of inner peace and enlightenment. Eastern and Western approaches to the higher self agree that it's not about seeking the higher self, but removing the impediments that block its presence. In Taoism, these impediments are referred to as mundane conditioning and the acquired mind. Mundane conditioning encompasses the societal, cultural, and environmental influences that shape our beliefs, behaviors, and perceptions. The acquired mind refers to the layers of thoughts, emotions, and conditioned responses that obscure our true nature. The formation of the acquired mind is a fascinating process that shapes our perceptions, beliefs, and sense of self. Taoists believe it begins to form the moment we are born and continues to develop through our interactions with the world around us. Our parents, family members, friends, teachers, and society at large play pivotal roles in this conditioning process. They influence how we see ourselves and our place in the world. The acquired mind, with all its attachments and self-identities, acts as a barrier to this connection. At the most fundamental level, many sages and spiritual teachers point out that our sense of I is conditioned from our earliest interactions, particularly with our mothers. From the moment our mothers repeatedly tell us our names and reinforce our separate sense of self, the foundation of the acquired mind is laid. This initial conditioning sets the stage for a lifetime of further influences that continue to shape and mold our identity. As we grow, the conditioning expands and deepens. We accumulate attachments and form a self-identity that encompasses various aspects of our lives. Emotional trauma, for example, can leave deep imprints on our psyche, influencing how we react to similar situations in the future. Social class also plays a significant role in shaping our worldview and our sense of what is possible or impossible for us. Age and ethnicity add further layers to this conditioning. Our experiences as children, teenagers, and adults differ vastly, each stage contributing to the construction of our acquired mind. Ethnicity influences our cultural background, traditions, and the values we hold dear, further solidifying our sense of self. Wealth status, too, has a profound impact. Whether we grow up in abundance or scarcity, our financial situation affects our attitudes toward money, success, and our worth. Popularity, or the lack thereof, during our formative years can shape our social skills and our need for acceptance and validation from others. Political ideologies, which we often inherit from our families or adopt through our social circles, further define our identity. These ideologies influence how we perceive the world, the issues we care about, and the values we uphold. Similarly, diseases and ailments, whether physical or mental, shape our experiences and our understanding of our limitations and strengths. Indoctrination from various sources, be it family lineage, religion, or education, also plays a crucial role in the formation of the acquired mind. Family lineage can carry with it a sense of duty, pride, or even shame, affecting how we see ourselves in relation to our ancestors. Religion provides a framework for understanding our place in the universe and often dictates our moral compass. Nationality instills a sense of belonging and identity tied to our country of origin, influencing our worldview and our sense of pride or patriotism. Our careers and educational backgrounds shape our ambitions, our goals, and how we define success. Body image, influenced by media and societal standards, affects our self-esteem and how we relate to our physical selves. Eventually, all of this conditioning catches up to us, leading us to adopt certain beliefs about ourselves and our abilities, often leading to the creation of an inner critic, a direct result of the beliefs, judgments, biases, and prejudices that make up our acquired mind. This inner critic, sometimes referred to as the inner saboteur, manifests as a constant voice in our heads. It is a persistent presence that provides commentary on nearly every aspect of our lives, from our decisions and actions to our self-worth and abilities. This critical voice is a product of the various forms of conditioning we've absorbed over time. For example, if we were frequently criticized or judged during our formative years, we might internalize those judgments, leading to a harsh inner critic. If we are exposed to biases or prejudices, these too can become part of our inner dialogue, affecting how we view ourselves and others. Emotional trauma, social expectations, and personal experiences all contribute to the development of this inner voice. Or, if society places a high value on success and achievement, we may develop an inner critic that harshly judges us for any perceived failures or shortcomings. If our upbringing emphasized the importance of fitting in and conforming, our inner critic may attack us for any deviations from the norm. In contrast, the higher self is non-judgmental and unconditioned. It exists beyond the layers of the acquired mind and does not engage in critical commentary. The higher self guides us gently and wordlessly, offering insights and wisdom without the harshness of judgment. It is aligned with our true essence and seeks to lead us toward our highest potential. It remains untouched by these external influences. It is the part of us that is inherently whole, complete, and connected to a higher wisdom. However, when the inner critic is in the driver's seat, it drowns out the subtle guidance of the higher self. This mental commentary can become overwhelming, leading to self-doubt, anxiety, and a constant state of inner turmoil. The inner critic feeds on the beliefs and biases we've accumulated, reinforcing negative patterns and keeping us stuck in a cycle of self-criticism. These internalized beliefs become the fuel for the inner critic's constant commentary. While the inner critic is loud and insistent, the higher self speaks softly, often through intuition or a sense of inner knowing. To connect with the higher self, we must learn to quiet the egoic self, the acquired mind, and the inner critic. With both Western and Eastern psychology having different approaches to doing this, it can be confusing to know which of the two to follow. But here's a secret strategy to achieve all of this without spending decades studying Jungian literature, nor following any particular path but your own. Connect with your higher self. We know that the acquired mind is like a restless monkey, jumping from one branch to another, never pausing long enough to find true peace. It is constantly seeking the next thrill, the next task, the next problem to solve. This constant movement keeps us from accessing the deeper, quieter parts of our being. But here's a secret. The acquired mind, the egoic self, and the inner critic all loathe one particular thing. Can you imagine what it is? It's slowing down, observing them as they are, and realizing that they're pushing us away from our higher self. We need to slow down to step away from this chaos and give us the peace to breathe and reflect. Slowing down can be as simple as taking a few minutes each day to sit in silence, away from the hustle and bustle of daily life. It can mean spending time in nature, where the calm and beauty of the natural world can help you reconnect with your inner essence. This means becoming aware of the influences that have shaped us and consciously choosing to release them. It is a journey of unlearning and rediscovery, where we peel away the layers of the acquired mind to reveal the essence of our true self. By letting go of desires and the illusion of the ego, one can experience true freedom and connect with their higher self. Historical events highlight the power of slowing down and tuning into one's higher self. Consider the story of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Before his enlightenment, Siddhartha was a prince living a life of luxury and speed. It was only after he renounced his worldly possessions and sat in deep meditation under the Bodhi tree that he attained enlightenment and connected with his higher self. The Buddha taught that the source of all suffering is attachment, and by releasing these attachments, we can attain a state of peace and enlightenment. This transformation underscores the importance of slowing down and seeking inner stillness as a path to spiritual awakening. In modern times, we can apply this ancient wisdom by creating rituals and habits that support our connection to the higher self. Simple practices like journaling, walking in nature, or practicing yoga can help us slow down and tune in. By making these activities a regular part of our lives, we create opportunities to hear the quiet voice of our higher self amid the noise of everyday life. But one significant aspect of Jung's work on the higher self continues to shock and intrigue people today. It's his assertion that the higher self is not an abstract, distant concept, but a tangible part of our everyday experience. The higher self is tangible. He believed that the higher self communicates with us through dreams, intuitions, and synchronicities. These meaningful coincidences, Jung argued, are not random events, but signs from the unconscious mind, guiding us toward greater self-awareness and alignment with our true purpose. This perspective encourages us to pay closer attention to our inner experiences and the subtle messages they convey. By doing so, we open ourselves up to the wisdom of the higher self and allow it to guide our actions and decisions. This process can lead to profound changes in our lives, helping us to overcome challenges, discover our passions, and build deeper, more authentic relationships. Jung's insights into the higher self challenge us to rethink our understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. They invite us to embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation, embracing both the light and dark aspects of our being. In doing so, we not only achieve personal growth but also contribute to the collective evolution of humanity. The journey to the higher self is a universal theme that transcends cultures and time periods. It is a process that invites us to look inward, confront our shadows, and integrate the various aspects of ourselves. By doing so, we can connect with our higher self, realize our true potential, and experience a deeper sense of harmony and wholeness. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.